here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. Wherever you are on the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, and around the globe, you can find us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, you can jump into the archives and find Wake Up Call on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, and I believe you can also find us on Boom Play and Podchaser as well. So make sure that you get out to any one of these outlets and search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. We got an awesome show set up here for you inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', and it's fitting with Mon Paz being local here, as we have that local flavor all throughout the year on Wake Up Call, and definitely this morning with LeMoyne Dolphins men's lacrosse future. And having that future, Joey Sacco of Liverpool, Liam Burns of West Genesee, Ian Leahy and Mason Ciciarelli of CNS, all joining me here today to share their story and to get excited about the future of what it's going to look like at LeMoyne, and of course to continue what we do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, which is support CNY and support local recruitment. So it means a lot to me when it comes to making sure that we get the local names out there, and that the men and women that are growing up here in this community know that they're appreciated, and that there's a lot of love here and a lot of support here in the community for them. So with that being said, we're going to make history here today, as we are picture in picture with these guys on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So let's get it started. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing well. So, Joey, I'm gonna start with you on this, because this opportunity to bring everybody together began in the Chick-fil-A Clay drive-through. So, bring me into that, Joey, and why you felt like it was important to showcase all of you together in a show.
Yeah, so I remember sitting out there seeing your car pull up, and I was like, this guy looks really familiar. And I heard that I think it was just when you signed with LeMoyne to start doing their media stuff. So I was like, hey, why not throw it out there? And I knew you had the LeMoyne background, so I thought it was going to be a pretty cool opportunity for us to kind of get to know you and kind of share our stories with us coming there next fall.
Absolutely, and Ian, I want to go to you here now. Just what is it about your time that you spent at CNS that you feel you're most appreciative of?
I feel like at CNS, I was around like really great coaches and some great teammates too. I mean, we had to battle through a lot of adversity, but I'm grateful for it at the end of the day.
What can you say about that adversity? What did it teach you?
It taught me to not give up. Like we had a lot of low points in our season this year, but it taught me to, just keep showing up to practice, keep trying to get the guys together and keep our heads up for the next game.
And for you, Mason, when you know that your teammate Ian's going to be your continued teammate here at LeMoyne, what's that like for you to know that, as much as it's different, it's familiar, and as you move on to LeMoyne, you're going to be able to look over at Ian and experience all of these things with him at LeMoyne at the same time?
Honestly, I think it's reliable. I've been with Ian we've played since we were in kindergarten together, and I just know that he's probably one of my most reliable teammates I've ever had. So I know that won't change no matter where we go.
You say the word reliable, and in today's world, that sometimes it feels difficult to find someone that you can rely on. Why do you use that word specifically for Ian?
I think it's because we've just played together for so long. I mean, I know how he plays, he knows how I play. We know how each other like just work in general. And I feel like it's just that like that long-term bond that like kind of just makes it like that they can do this or they can do that, and you can rely on them to get that done.
Do you know where he's going to be on the field to this point where you don't even have to think about it?
Basically.
Okay, fair enough. Liam, how are you? And obviously, we've done a lot of work with West Genesee as well, so good to have you here, Liam.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What can you say about what you've taken away from West Genny and that squad specifically that's going to help you move forward?
I mean, I've taken away just so much great teamwork. We're just a really tight-knit group with great coaches who are putting us in a great spot to hopefully move on to the state championship tomorrow.
And you talk about that, still being alive and still moving forward here toward states. This season, how would you describe it in a few words?
Roller coaster. I mean, we started the season 2-3, 2-4, something like that. And then to get to the point we're at now, no one really expected it from us at the beginning of the year. But it's been awesome to get to this point again with this group of guys.
What's been your favorite part? Do you have a favorite moment of this run towards states this season?
Yeah, when we won the section championship and my dad's my coach and he just hugged me with tears in his eyes. That was the best feeling, most rewarding.
Yeah, and Eric, I mean, obviously I've had the opportunity to do shows with him in the past. What's like you said, to experience that with your dad and to go through this with him? What can you say about those special moments? Because very rarely does anybody get to experience the sports world with a family member and especially a father-son relationship in this run that you've had. So have you had a moment or two that's been really reflective for you in this run?
Yeah, it makes the run so much more special when you're doing it with your dad, and then his brothers are AD, so having him on the sideline too, it's just awesome to go on the run with both of them, and it's just the best feeling to win with them.
Let's discuss the elephant in the room, gentlemen. You guys have been adversaries for a while. So, we're talking about Liverpool, CNS, and West Jenny. You don't make life easy for each other. So, what's it going to be like to play with each other? Mason, I'll start with you.
I think that honestly, like we're all chill with each other. We don't really have any beef with each other, and we'll have a lot of fun. I mean, I know Ian and Joey are good pals. I know. Oh, my bad. I know Aaron's a good buddy of Joe. I mean, I think we'll all just have such a good bond up at LeMoyne that whatever happened in high school didn't really matter, type of thing.
Do you have a favorite moment against any one of these guys?
Beating Liverpool in OT, where I scored on. Who did I score on? I don't know.
It wasn't me. I was on the way to the hospital.
Yeah, I know you.
So, I mean, Joey, like you said, you're on the way to the hospital. Go back to that game. I mean, that was obviously a very unique experience for you in the not so great way. Bring me into that.
Yeah, it definitely brought kind of a new meaning to playing CNS after that game. I remember being up, I think we were up 2, and then I ended up getting a concussion with about 2 minutes to go, and kind of from there it was just a blur. So when I figured out we lost, it kind of got a lot of people mad, and then we ended up beating them in the semifinals that year, which was huge. And then playing them this year, we all kind of still had that big target on our back, knowing kind of what happened last year and kind of just bringing the heat this year. So we had a clean sweep against them again.
And Joey, when you think back on these moments that you've had in the community where you've gone up against, some people on the screen and some people that are off the screen, how do you look back on that? And like you said, I mean, Mason was saying, hey, listen, we don't have beef, it's all love for each other, we care about each other. How do you look at moments like that? Because when you're on the field, it's obviously different, right? There's that, this is my team, this is who I'm going up against, this is, I have to beat my adversary today. But, is it really all love when you get off the field?
Yeah, I mean, during the game, we're all kind of had the same goal. We all want to win, and we all want to kind of bring home a championship. So on the field for those 48 minutes, we're all kind of battling against each other. But the minute that game ends, we're all giving each other hugs, saying good job. And the 4 of us, we all played club ball together, so it won't be the first time we're playing together at LeMoyne. So, we all kind of are just friends on the field, and we're all playing the game for the same reason.
And, playing that game for the same reason, Ian, how would you describe why you chose to play lacrosse? Why do you love it? Why are you passionate about it?
I love it because I feel like since I started playing in kindergarten, to start off, I made a lot of new friends. I like the speed of the sport. I like the physicality of it, and all of it, like, for me, was just a perfect fit.
Yeah, like you said, you like the speed and the physicality. What has the game taught you?
The game's taught me like you got to just be super quick to like think. You can't really waste any time, dwelling on like, oh, I should have made a shot or anything. You just got to keep playing even if you keep making mistakes.
And looking back on this season, was there a teachable moment for you that was bigger than any other moment? Is there something that you really have reflected on from this specific season?
I think what I've reflected on the most, I mean, we had a pretty bad loss against Baldwinsville, but I learned from that a lot because all the guys came back the next day in practice, heads up, and we still battled throughout the season. We played a lot of teams close, even with a lot of, what was it, like four starters on offense hurt. We still played everybody pretty close.
Liam, for you, you're still going here in the season and still have an opportunity. We talked about those moments that have meant a lot to you and having, your dad and your uncle right there by your side in a unique situation at West Genesee with Eric and Mike, which is a beautiful thing. Do you have a moment or two of adversity that you've reflected upon that you feel like has made you a better player?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we played a bunch of Rochester teams earlier in the year. Fairport and Pittsford are probably our two worst games of the year. And so after those two games, coming together as a group after that, figuring some stuff out, and then going on a winning streak was pretty special and got us to where we are today.
When you say, you talk about the roller coaster of a season, what got you guys back to the high point of the roller coaster if it's been so up and down?
I think our coaches have done a great job. They watch so much film, especially on these three. It's just been unreal how much film they've watched and putting us in a position to win every single game.
Mason, we're going to mix in some lacrosse and some non-lacrosse stuff as we go through this here. You guys have played together, as Joey was talking about, since you were little. So Mason, tell me who is the funniest of the three that are on screen right now. Of Liam, of Joey, of Ian, who's the person that can make you laugh the easiest?
Definitely Joey.
Definitely Joey. Okay.
He's definitely the most outspoken out of the three.
Okay. All right. Ian, who is the best dressed of everybody on this screen?
I'm gonna go with Liam. I saw his ball pictures at West Jenny. I thought he looked pretty clean.
All right. Liam, who do you consider to be the most serious of the bunch here?
I don't know if I can even pick one for that. I don't know. I think we all kind of just laugh all the time and just have fun.
Joey, if you all were in the car and you were driving somewhere and the car broke down, who would you trust to fix the problem with the car?
I'd feel like we'd all have to kind of chip in and kind of get our brains all working at once. I feel like there'd be a lot of ideas up in the air. Mine would probably be the worst idea, so definitely not me. But I feel as if probably Mason or Ian probably have the best car experience.
Okay.
That would be probably my guess.
Joey, I'm going to stay with you with this because I want to get everybody's thoughts on this. Who's the biggest trash talker on the field?
Mason, hands down. Hands down.
Ian, agree, disagree?
I'd agree. We had a little box league over the summer, and I mean, me and Mason were going back and forth at it. So, I mean, I could say myself too, but I'd go Mason. He's always got something to say.
Liam, would you agree?
Yeah, it's got to be Mason. You see him score and give it to the defenseman a little bit, so it's got to be Mason.
Mason, do you accept that the room has chosen you?
Yeah, I kind of get that. I mean, most of the time it's all just play, but like especially if I score on like Caleb Crowder, I'll say something to him. I like messing with Caleb, but no, I like to have a lot of fun.
Why you mentioned Caleb Crowder specifically by name? Why do you like scoring on him so much?
Well, I mean, we played Salt Kings together, and we've played together for a little bit, and it's just like a friendly matchup, just someone fun to go against.
Does he trash talk back to you or no?
A little bit sometimes. He shuts his mouth though when I'll score on him.
Oh wow. We're getting that real stuff this morning. I feel like this little Jerry Springer that we have going on this morning. So Mason, if you if you could go up against any one of these guys on screen one-on-one, who do you think would give you the best fight?
Ian, without a doubt.
Ian,
because I know he doesn't like when we played our box league, we would give each other bruises. We would go after each other.
Ian, would you agree? I'm guessing you would.
Yeah, I'd agree. I also, Mason, I don't think you scored on me once over the box league. I'm just going to put that out there too.
Okay. Joey, Liam, who would you like to go up against on screen here that you think would be the best fight? Joey, I'll go with you first.
Oh, Joe?
Yeah, sorry.
Honestly, I think going against any of these guys would be a ton of fun. There'd be a lot of trash talking, a lot of bruises, as Mason was saying. I think we'd all just kind of battle. I know me and Liam, we definitely go at it with each other, going from playing club for a while and knowing kind of what each other are going to do. So probably going against him would be a ton of fun because we would chirp too.
Liam, so you heard that from Joey. What are your thoughts?
I mean, Joey did get switched on to me in a game this year, and it was a lot of fun when that happened. But, I mean, all these guys, we kind of know how each other play, so it would be hard to get by any of them.
So you guys are coming from different schools here in our community, and all schools that I've covered in CNS, Liverpool, and West Genesee. Liam, I'm going to stay with you for this one. You can say yourself, but you have to say why. What team do you think has the best swagger on the field?
Oh, us, 100%.
Why?
I mean, we're still playing. I mean, we gotta have the best swagger.
Joey?
It's not West Jenny. The high socks, I mean, I know it's tradition and stuff, but that's just not swag. Like, that's not style going around these days. I'd say I think our Liverpool team, we just have our own little way of doing things. Like last year, we bleached our hair. So we all just kind of have something wild that's going to happen. You never know what's going to come out with jersey combos or undershirts. You never know. And a lot of ankle socks.
All right. Mason, I'm guessing you're going to pick CNS. I want to know why.
I mean, we brought out the black unis this year. The full black unis were real tough for our team. So that's kind of like the only thing we got going for us, though, on the style aspect. Where we always wear a traditional blue and white, though. We only wore black once. I don't know why.
Ian, is the swagger of CNS locked in that all black, or do you have another thought?
I like the all black a lot, especially at night. I mean, we got a lot of cool pictures from it, but I think the all white's clean too. It's just reliable. So I mean, I think the way our jerseys look with our helmets is pretty clean.
So here on screen, once again, inside of this edition, a very special edition of the Dolphin Dive, speaking to the future of LeMoyne men's lacrosse, and all coming from Central New York, Joey Sacco of Liverpool, Liam Burns of West Genesee, Ian Leahy and Mason Ciciarelli of CNS, all here on screen live with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I'm going to go back to you, Ian, for this one. Why LeMoyne? Of anywhere you could go, why stay in this community and head to the heights at LeMoyne?
I started off because first, academically, I thought since I want to be a business major, the Madden School of Business was a great fit. I learned a lot about it through Coach Sheehan and through our visit. And also I committed after, I believe, Mason and Liam did. And I thought too, it must be pretty cool to play with these guys. And obviously I know LeMoyne's a very, very competitive team and they're used to winning a lot. So I'm pretty excited to be in that environment.
All right. I can appreciate that. Joey, why did you say yes to LeMoyne?
It's almost the same as Ian. So I'm a big business guy. So knowing that I was going to get a business degree from the Madden School of Business was just fantastic. Knowing that it's very notable and stuff like that. So I was very excited to join that. So that was kind of what really caught my attention. Then when Coach Sheehan reached out to me, I knew that it was going to be a perfect fit from the first days I went to his LeMoyne camp as a fourth grader or something. I knew I really wanted to go there. And they have a very notable background, a good lacrosse program. So it's just all kind of worked out perfect to what I wanted to see in my future.
All right, I like that. You put in that school side in it, that student and student athlete, very important. So I appreciate that from Ian and Joey. Liam, for you, why LeMoyne?
I mean, I've known Coach Dean my whole life. He went to West Jenny. I've known Coach Alexander for years. I couldn't imagine playing for other coaches. And then I'm going to school to be a teacher. So LeMoyne's education program is one of the best in New York State. So it was no brainer for me.
Why do you want to be a teacher?
Both my parents are teachers. Got a bunch of aunts, uncles, cousins who are teachers. So just in the family.
Do you have a certain desire as a teacher, a certain grade that you want to teach, or a certain subject?
Yeah, I want to be a gym teacher.
To be a gym teacher.
Yeah.
I like that. That's different. So you don't typically hear that. Why a gym teacher?
I mean, I've been around sports my entire life, and just being able to do that when I'm older, it sounds more of like having fun than a job. So getting paid to do something you love would be perfect.
Could we see you back at West Jenny teaching gym?
Yeah, for sure. I would love to coach lacrosse here too. That'd be the dream.
All right, I like that. I like those aspirations. I appreciate that. Thanks, Liam. Mason, for you, what was it about LeMoyne that sold it for you?
I think it was their biology programs and their postgraduate programs that they have for like med school and stuff. And it's right in my backyard, super close, and it's got probably one of the best was D2 lacrosse teams there was. So I mean, there was really nothing that really made me not want to go there.
And you mentioned the science side of things. What are you looking to get into? What do you want to do?
I'm looking to go pre-med, somewhere with like the brain field. That's where I want to go to. Something to do with like the brain or spine or something like that.
So we have two business. We have the brain field and spine side of things on the scientific side, and we have a teacher. That's a pretty awesome screen. And I can appreciate, I think anybody watching and listening, hearing from young people in today's world where we're talking about sports and your future there, but that you're spending so much time and you know what you want to study and you care about that and your future beyond lacrosse is a big thing. So I salute, honestly, all of you for having that vision and that mission beyond lacrosse, because I think it says a lot. And I think it's good for young people to see driven people like yourself. So I do appreciate that. Mason, I'm going to go back to you because you mentioned it, and it's where I was going next. You said one of the best, if not the best, D2 men's lacrosse team in the country. Now they're moving to D1. There's a plan, potentially, for the future of LeMoyne men's lacrosse, but they have to play independent coming up this season. What are your thoughts about going to LeMoyne now that it's a D1 institution, and what's your thoughts about being an independent program outside of the NEC?
I think that it's good and bad in both ways. It's good to like get like a little footing and see like where you stand amongst everybody else, but then it's also kind of bad just to not play for 4 years in a tournament. You have like nothing to play for. But honestly, I feel like it doesn't really affect me that much because I'm going there to get an education. I'm not playing lacrosse the rest of my life. So I'll play it while it does it. I mean, I'll probably redshirt my first year, probably because of my knee. So I think it'll just still be a bunch of fun, especially with all the guys that we know. It's just going to be a blast.
And you mentioned it, there's a 4-year hiatus. Now, inside of the NEC, there is 2 years that you can't play in the postseason for the NEC as of right now. And then there's 4 years for the NCAAs. And then there's the uniqueness of LeMoyne men's lacrosse having to play independent outside of the NEC this year. Did it make you second guess or rethink about your decision, knowing that there's not going to be a postseason, Mason? I'll stay with you for this.
Didn't hinder me one bit.
Yeah, I love it. Joey, your thoughts on going D1 and going to a team that's going to have to play independent for their first season?
I think it's a great opportunity for not only us, but for the campus as a whole. We had a call with Coach Sheen not too long ago, and he mentioned some teams that we could potentially be playing next year, which I think would kind of really put us on the radar and let us experience and kind of travel and see some new things. So I think it'd be a cool experience for us and traveling all these different places and kind of seeing where we fit in as the D1 team.
For you, not having the postseason, how do you look at that? How do you navigate through that?
I was the same as Mason. I knew that I'm going to LeMoyne to get an education. Our bodies aren't playing lacrosse for that much. There's not too much after college. I mean, there's the PLL, but besides that, there's really nothing. So knowing that I'm going to get a good education that's going to benefit me in my future was kind of the big thing that I was really focused on. And playing lacrosse for 4 years, just to add on to that, will be a great time.
Are you excited about D1 when you heard that? Were you positively reacting to it?
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be a great experience. I mean, it would have been really cool for Division II, knowing that we can compete for the championship. But, I'm just kind of excited for the experience it's going to bring, and kind of being with all these buddies of mine up at LeMoyne. I think it's just going to be a fun time.
Liam, for you, when you see this move to Division I and having to be an independent for that first season, your first season, how do you look at it?
Like Joey, I think it's a great opportunity to kind of get the LeMoyne College name out there, to kind of put them on the map a little bit. Like you said, with all the teams that she and Seb are going to be playing, I'm really excited, and I can't wait to get up there.
And for you, I mean, obviously, I know you want to win a state title, but does it put more of an emphasis on that, knowing that you can't play in the postseason at LeMoyne? Do you feel that even more in this last year at West Jenny?
Yeah, for sure. Knowing that playoffs will be limited at LeMoyne, it's definitely something that I've thought about at West Jenny, trying to make one last run at a big title. But who knows, with the rules that the NCAA is putting out, people are opposing them, so you never know what will happen.
Yeah, I mean, there is a chance things could change, and hopefully for the better. Ian, for you, Division I, independent school for the first year of the NEC, at least for men's lacrosse, your take on it?
I think we all came, we were expecting to be, Division II athletes winning a championship, but going D1, there's, like everybody else said, a lot of ups and downs. We got a lot more opportunities to put ourselves out there, and we can also do some really cool things as a group, going around and playing a bunch of teams. I think it could be a lot of fun. I'm sure it will be a lot of fun, and I got to believe in the coaches that they'll get us in a good position too.
Does it bother you at all, or did it ever hinder you that there's no postseason as of right now?
No, like everybody else has been saying, I'm going, to get my degree, and I think no matter what, we're going to make light out of a situation.
Knowing that you're going to be a part of history, because you will be the first Division I men's lacrosse team at LeMoyne. Ian, I'll stay with you for this. Win, lose, or draw, that first season is the first and only time that anybody could say, hey, when men's lacrosse went D1, I was a part of it. What does that mean to you?
I think it's pretty cool that we can kind of cement ourselves as a part of that team. I mean, not many people are part of something like this where they transition from a D2 team to a D1 team. So it's pretty significant that I can do it with three pretty good friends.
Mason, for you, to be a part of history means what?
It's just cool. I mean, we're the first team to do it there. We're in that program forever now. It's just really neat to know that we're the starting group, the group that kicks it off.
Liam, making history in your freshman season, what does that mean for you?
I think it's extremely special, especially all the history that LeMoyne Lacrosse has had. To be the group that moves into Division I is really special, and I'm really excited.
Joey, I know that we did a show here recently. It's easy for me to know your passion. What can you say about the excitement that you have to make history?
I just think it's going to be a great experience for us. Knowing with LeMoyne going to D1, it just kind of already says what kind of background LeMoyne has from being a notable D2 team to being D1. So I just think there's so many special things that are going to happen in the next fall and kind of for the years on. So it's going to be just incredible to be a part of that.
Before we get into rapid fire, which will bring us around and back the other way here on the screen, here with the future of LeMoyne men's lacrosse, all coming from Central New York that's on the screen with me here. Joey Sacco of Liverpool, Liam Burns of West Genesee, and Ian Leahy and Mason Ciciarelli of CNS here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Before we get into rapid fire, Joey, I'll stay with you for this one. Looking at the screen, people can hear you and see you all around the world right now. If you could give a piece of advice to the world, to anybody watching and listening, what would you say about chasing your dreams and being proud of the person that you are?
I would just say cherish everything you have. Anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Work hard. Nothing's easy. So that was our lacrosse slogan, was "It ain't easy." That was kind of what we went by. So we kind of lived by that, just saying like, hey, this isn't going to be easy. We got to work for it. So that's my big thing, would say it ain't easy. You got to work for it.
I like it. Ian, if you could give a piece of positive thought to the world today, what would you say?
I just say keep your head up no matter what comes at you. I mean, for example, our season, we lost a lot of key players, but like I've said earlier, we kept our heads up and we made the most out of a bad situation we were put in.
And what did you, I mean, from that adversity, for you to learn and move forward, if someone was going through an adverse moment in sports, in life in general, you said keep your head up. What did you learn about yourself in adversity that you would turn around and say to somebody, hey, this is what I took away from this? Because I don't think you can grow without adversity. So I'd love to get your thoughts a little bit deeper on that.
Yeah, I thought I definitely learned as a person that I'm probably work harder than a lot of people do. I didn't think that, we'd be able to push the way we did after losing as much as we did. But I mean, we almost did something crazy in sectionals and surprised a lot of people.
I like it. I appreciate it. And, obviously a positive response to adversity is, in my opinion, the only response. Liam, for you, a piece of advice that you would want to send out to the world right now?
I mean, I just think everything happens for a reason. Any adversity you face, you just roll the punches. Our lacrosse slogan this year was "Embrace the suck." So just take the punches and work hard to get through them, and just know everything happens for a reason, and you'll be able to get through anything.
A unique slogan, "Embrace the suck." Did you guys embrace that slogan early on, or did it take some time?
It definitely took some time, but once everyone bought into it, and our team started becoming really special.
What has that slogan meant to you?
I mean, my dad's the one who's pushed it on us, and it means everything to me to hear him say it and then see the guys buy into it. It was really special.
Most people push away the suck, the negative, the adversity, the toughness, right? So when you have a slogan like "Embrace it," take in, give a hug to that which is working against you. How does a statement like that and a motto like that turn you into a stronger and better person?
I mean, it just motivates you through anything. Like when you face adversity, it just keeps you going. Just take on that adversity and just run with it and just see what you can do.
I like it. Mason, your piece of advice for the world today?
Mine's probably got to be play every game like it's your last, or live every day like it's your last. Because you don't know when it's going to end.
And have you felt that having, these last few years, obviously, of a very unique time period and a pandemic and all of that, do you really feel like that sunk in for you, that life can change in an instant?
Yeah, honestly, it sunk in the most when we were playing West Jenny. It was the worst feeling ever when I was like, damn, if only I had 10 more minutes, 12 more minutes. But there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to work through it.
And when you look back on that and you say, if I just had 10 more minutes, 12 more minutes, how do you let that go? Or how do you let a moment like that? How do you essentially embrace the suck, like Liam was talking about, in those tough moments? How do you not live in regret, but use that for the future?
Well, I think the main thing that I did is, I got carted off the field. I sat down for 2 minutes, and then I was right back up on my buddy's crutches cheering for our team. So I feel like it's better to not just go put your head down, but get up and support your team. I mean, I was 4.5 hours post-op, and I came to our sectional game. So you just got to be there to support everybody else.
Well, and I appreciate that. I love that. And I like you said, you got to get up and support. It's not an individualistic world. It feels that way, but we're meant to work together. We get a lot farther when we do. So I definitely appreciate you getting up on those crutches and getting up 4 hours post-op and being there for your team. We're going to play rapid fire now. Some of you guys know it, some of you don't. So we're going to go around the horn here, and then we'll come back around. So I will ask Mason. Mason will ask Liam, who will ask Joey, who will ask Ian, who will ask me, and then we'll go back around. So, Mason, my question for you is, if you could be described as a sandwich, what would be in your sandwich and why?
I would definitely be a meatball sub with some mozzarella cheese on it. That would be my sandwich. Because I really like Italian food, so that's just kind of my thing.
Do you have a favorite place to get one?
Probably not. I just kind of get them anywhere.
Okay. All right. Do you have, I mean, is there a favorite place? Is there a place that's done it better than other places?
Homemade.
Fair enough.
Homemade's better.
I was hoping you would say that answer. As a fellow Italian, I was trying to lead you back home. So I'm happy you chose home. Now, who makes it?
My dad. My dad makes a lot of our food.
Okay. Awesome. So dad makes
He's a
homemade.
good cook.
How often does he make homemade meatballs?
Oh, every other weekend.
So I guess the question is, are you guys going to save some leftovers for me at this point? I think that's the important part.
If the door is always open, you can always come over.
I appreciate it, Mason. Mason, what's your question for Liam?
Is there any question?
Anything.
All right. Liam, who did you not like going against this season?
I mean, Joe Green, obviously. Feels like he uses a weighted stick with how hard he checks you. So he wasn't fun. Definitely left that game with a few bruises.
Okay, Liam, what's your question for Joey?
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Probably like being able to fly. I feel like that'd just be sweet.
That's my choice too.
Just something about flying. I don't know. It just seems like it'd be insane. Just way faster.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. That and teleportation. Joey, your question for Ian?
Ian, what's the go-to car snack for like a car ride?
I would go with cheddar Chex Mix for me, and then like chocolate milk too.
Cheddar Chex Mix and chocolate milk. I like it. Ian, your question for me?
What do you enjoy the most out of doing like interviews like this?
Yeah, I think, it's getting to know you. I mean, to me, I've been able to live in different places. I've done work with a lot of different teams around the country, some out of the country. And being in central and upstate New York, I mean, this is my home. I grew up on the north side, and my grandparents were here. My parents are here. So I think, my favorite part of doing something like this is that, I mean, I knew I always cared about people in my community, but it kind of just grew and grew and grew to things like this where I want to get out to as many people as I can. And I'll get that question like, oh, how come you didn't cover this sport or come to this school or did you talk to this person? And I always tell people, if we haven't done it yet, it's not because I didn't want to. It's that we just didn't get to that story yet, and we'd be happy to do it. I think working with CNS over the years and doing things at Chick-fil-A Cicero and obviously being at Avicoli's with Liverpool and out at the Wildcat for 8 years now, pretty much with West Genesee. I mean, there's so many things that I get to do, and I think my favorite part of it is just getting to know you guys. The men and women of this community are really awesome, and I think that your generation gets a bad rap, and I think there's like stereotypes, and then I get to sit with you all, and I'm like, these are good kids. These are kids that were raised right. What did you all say when I asked you about LeMoyne? Every single one of you talked about your education. So, if one of you did that, it would have been great to see it on screen. You all did. And so what do I like? I like getting to know you. I like building those bonds, and I like you knowing that there's somebody out there that's rooting for you, that wants to get your name out, that wants to tell your story, and I'll always want to do that. So you guys could come back on the show 100 times over. You can come on the show when, you're working, in Mason's case, when you're pre-med, you can come back when you're, teaching at West Jenny, Liam, and, Joey and Ian, when you guys open your businesses, let's do something together. I mean, that's how I look at it. So I'm going to go back to you, Ian. We'll go back around here. Ian, what is one funny story that you have from this season?
One funny story I'd have. So we beat FM on the road early in our season, and his name's been mentioned. Joe Green. He's a guy that's like, he's a really tough kid. He's always like, he shows up to practice. He's got like a wife beater and jeans and cowboy boots on, but. So we come back to our locker room. Everyone's like pretty happy about the win, and he starts like dancing all out to all these songs that I never even thought he would have heard of, and we all got a pretty good laugh out of it. I mean, he's such just a funny kid to be around, and he expressed himself like that throughout the year.
Is there a song that you particularly like that he knew?
There is a few songs, but I don't know how appropriate they would be for this, but it was pretty crazy. One of them was by a guy named Bobby Shmurda.
Okay, all right, fair enough. What's your question for Joey?
Joey, what was your favorite game this year, not including CNS games?
I'd probably have to say the game against West Jenny. That game was just, we ended up winning in overtime. It was like a lot of ups and downs that game. I think the weather, I think we had every sort of weather that could have happened in that game. I think it snowed at one point, and then it rained, and then the sun came out. Like, it was just a lot of ups and downs, and then pulling it out in the overtime was just an unmatched feeling.
Joey, what was it like to see 4 seasons in one game?
It was definitely different. I remember, I think it was like a minute to go. We were up 1, and West Jenny had the ball, and it turned into a complete whiteout. Like, you couldn't see a thing. And I remember just sitting there knowing, like, all right, it's a 1-goal game. Like the snow's coming. I was like, we got it. And then they ended up scoring. So then sending it to overtime. And then I think the sun came out in overtime, and that's when we pulled it off. So it was definitely different, but kind of like set the mood pretty good.
Yeah, and it's Central New York. I mean, at its finest, right? 4 seasons in a day. Joey,
No doubt.
what's your question for Liam?
Liam, if you had to go to any like sporting event, what would it be?
Dallas Cowboys game against the Eagles in Dallas, 100%.
Have you been to Dallas?
Yeah, let's do it this year.
I've been to a Cowboys game in Philly, which that was an experience in itself, but I'd rather go to one in Dallas.
Did you wear Cowboys gear in Philadelphia?
No, we knew better than that.
I was going to say, the city of brotherly hate, probably not the best place to do it. But I will say, I've always wanted to go down to Cowboy Stadium. They're my second favorite team, so Jaguars are my first. It's kind of like AFC, NFC, but Jaguars are my first, Cowboys a close second. I went down to Arlington, went to the stadium this past January, and I went on the field and got to walk on the field and FaceTime my dad and my dog. And I said, like, from when I was like 9 years old, I wanted to be at Cowboy Stadium. So to be able to walk that field and do a broadcast from the field and all that stuff was a lot of fun. So I would definitely recommend you get down there.
Yeah, it would be the dream, especially not with these dirty Eagles fan like Ian, but better be around Cowboys fans.
All right, fair enough. Well, at least we know that you guys will be able to continue that conversation at LeMoyne here, the Cowboys versus the Eagles, twice a season. So, Liam, what is your question for Mason?
Mason, what was your favorite goal you scored in your high school career?
Oh, this is a tough one. I had a between the legs goal this year that Joe Green fed me on. That's definitely up there. That's probably it.
That's the one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mason, what's your question for me?
What's your favorite movie?
Let's say I'm a movie guy. This is really tough. I would say I love Marvel, but a lot of the Marvel movies have been kind of not great lately, except for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Guardians 3. So I think, if I had to pick a comedy, it would be Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. If you haven't seen it, you guys need to see it. And maybe Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell, where he's a coach, because that's a really funny movie. And then I would say if it's Marvel, Guardians Volume 2, because of the father figure connection between Yondu and Star-Lord. And then in this last Halloween, I made my own Star-Lord costume, and I feel like I did it justice. So I would probably have to say that. And if it was a serious movie, I'd probably say, oh man, I don't even know. How many serious movies do I watch? If it was a serious movie, I might pick. I'll probably Remember the Titans. I think that movie could teach people a lot today because people still haven't figured it out. So I'd probably say Remember the Titans. But with that being said, for all of you gentlemen, I want to thank you for being a part of the show. We do a thing called Tell Me Something Good, so I would love to do that here before we finish up. Mason, tell me something good about Joey.
He's always happy. He always has a smile on his face. That's my thing.
Okay. Joey, you tell me something good about Ian.
He's always positive. Like, he's always got something nice to say. He's never really, like, I've never seen the chirping side of him. He's always in a good mood, always, like, picking like, me up from club. Like, he's like, hey, great shot, great job, great shot. You know, get the next one. So he's always pretty positive and supportive.
Okay, Ian, tell me something good about Liam.
I think Liam's pretty fearless on the lacrosse field. He doesn't care who he's going against. He'll always take him to the rack. I mean, he scored a lot of goals on the top defenders across Section 3.
And Liam, you tell me something good about Mason.
I mean, I'm gonna say the same thing Joey said. Mason just always positive. Like I saw him on the sidelines, like personally, when he hurt his knee. He was up cheering for his team, patting his teammates on the back, just being there for them. He's just always there for his teammates. Very positive.
So with that being said, a lot of positivity and a lot of good staying here in Central and Upstate New York. We've been spoiled having you all in our local high schools. We're going to continue to be spoiled to have you at LeMoyne on the Heights. Joey Sacco of Liverpool, Liam Burns of West Genesee, Ian Leahy and Mason Ciciarelli of CNS, and Mason's home of the place where I get to go get free meatballs. So with that being said, for Mason, for Ian, for Liam, and for Joey, thank you guys for doing this. And just so you all know, you made history. Almost 20 years of being a broadcaster, and we have never done it like this, to have all of you on screen from different schools going to the same place. So this moment is a historic moment as you get ready for your historic moment at LeMoyne for D1. So thanks for making history with me, guys, and thanks for being good to our community and for working as hard as you do. I look forward to seeing you all soon, and I can say that, yeah, Joey's always smiling, but you guys have all been awesome to me, so I got to give you all credit for the smiles and the kindness. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. You guys take care, and I'll talk with you soon.
See ya.
See you.
Yep.
Take care.
Take care. That coming from the future here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the future of lacrosse at LeMoyne, here with Liam Burns of West Genesee, who's still playing, and God bless to them on their fight toward a state title, and Coach Eric Burns, and of course Mike Burns, who I've gotten to know over the years, the AD there at the Wildcat Sports Pub in our West Genesee Spotlight Special that we only do at the Wildcat over the hill from West Genny. So much love and appreciation to the team, and positive energy being sent their way in a fight toward a state title. I hope you all get it. And of course, many thanks to Mason Ciciarelli and Ian Leahy of the CNS North Stars, and of course Joey Sacco of the Liverpool Warriors. So with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience.
Hi, Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. You can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you where sports meets life every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and hope you're having yourselves a wonderful morning this morning. It rained yesterday night, which is good because that means that this crazy, nasty air hopefully can be lifted a little bit for us and things can get a little bit better. I wanted to look at what the air quality was for today. I'm actually going to look it up right now. So I said yesterday when it hits around 50 that I start to get concerned because of my allergies have been like so sensitive over the years. And yesterday it was at 351. So 50 to me was like, and it was 300 more than that. But right now, the air quality, let's see here. So our air quality alert has extended until Friday morning, this Friday, June 9th at 8:30 a.m. It's crazy. So we're at 156 right now, which is unhealthy. It's got us all in like the peach color. Better than yesterday at about this time, but still unhealthy. So that's great. So if you go outside, I would suggest wearing a mask. So, yeah, I went outside this morning without a mask. I'm like, I'm just going to be out for a couple minutes. And, yeah, not not great, as you can kind of hear. So, please be safe out there, folks, and just be nice to each other. Just be kind, be compassionate. Take your time, you know. Don't be in any rush out there today. Just go out and do what you got to do, but be considerate of other people. So I think we can all do that. I think we should all do that. So But I do want to, we have Matthew Hawn coming up here in just a little bit on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I do want to thank the gentleman once again that came on to the show. Now, taking a look at some things that are going on here in the world of the Big 12, which seems to be trending all the time. They're looking at potentially starting a bowl game in Mexico in the postseason of 2026. Monterrey. The league would also hold a regular season game with Houston and Kansas in Mexico City in 2024 in men's and women's basketball. So that's interesting here. Now, looking at UConn. Now, UConn just left the American within the last few years to join the Big East again, and then they left their football out to pasture, and they ended up being independent in football. And now there's the thought that we could see them go to the Big 12, UConn. So weird. So realignment continues to rear its ugly head is essentially what I'm saying to everybody this morning. And, you know, speaking with Commissioner Mike Oresco of the American Athletic Conference yesterday, you can go back and watch that video on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and on our Facebook timeline, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. But, you know, I mean, him and I were discussing it and the fact that there's a 50-50 shot that they could lose another team. So, a 50-50 shot that they could lose another school. They're hoping that obviously it doesn't happen, but, you know, we've heard the SMUs and the Memphises come up when it comes to the American Athletic. Obviously, we've heard Colorado come up with the Big 12 here recently. We've heard a bunch of Pac-12 teams come up with the Big 12. And so the latest kind of looking at things right now and seeing what some thoughts here. College football realignment is Colorado now. Remember, Deion Sanders is in Colorado now. So there's something to be said about that. So we're looking at that right now and a potential move to the Big 12. Now, the Colorado Board of Regents met on Tuesday this past Tuesday for an executive session centered around, quote, legal advice on an athletics matter at CU Boulder, end quote. So, you know, we shall see, but we look at this and say to ourselves, if this continues, now Colorado has no connection to the Pac-12. Geographically, it makes no sense. Now, Colorado was a member of the Big 12 from 96 to 2010, with 7 of those years being winning seasons. So, before that, they were a member of the Big 8, dating back to 1948. So, that's something to look at, too. There is some history. The Big 12 wants to expand. So, this could, obviously aid them in doing that. See, because this is where we're at right now. The SEC is head and shoulders above everybody else. They just are. Whether you like it or not, they just are, and that's reality. The SEC is the best football conference in America. If you think it's not, then I would ask you why, and we can have that discussion, but they're the best conference in America. Why, in my opinion, are the SEC the best conference in America when it comes to college football? Because you have Alabama, you have Texas A&M, who's had some positive moments in recent history. You have Florida, who I think will be getting on its way back up and hopefully, becoming that 8-win, hopefully more than 8-win team. So you have, I think, Florida getting better, Arkansas getting better. You have Kentucky that's come up over the years. You have Auburn that might have a dip for a couple seasons and comes back up. You have Georgia, obviously, back-to-back national champions. So when you look at the SEC, it's hard to think that there's not going to be an SEC team in the title game, right? And So to me, the SEC has proven that they're a powerhouse because when they get selected to go to the college football playoff, unlike other conferences and or teams that get it because of preferential treatment, when they go, they more often than not win. And the only team that's really stopped that has been Clemson of the ACC. But beyond that, it's been a whole lot of SEC action. So I think the Big Ten right now and the Big 12 are in a position of trying to become the second best to that. They're trying to match to the best of their ability the level of talent. Now, the SEC is getting Oklahoma and the SEC is getting Texas. So now the Big 12 has to find a way to continue to improve. So let's see what Mike said. ACC needs to force Notre Dame to give up that television money if they want to play teams in the ACC. See, here's the thing about Notre Dame, Mike, and I get what you're saying. Notre Dame has an unfair advantage. They've had an unfair advantage for a very long time. And listen, they worked out the deal. So I credit them with working out the deal because they figured it out. They worked it out. And, it's been working in their favor. So I'm not, I think if I'm Notre Dame, I'm like, hey, I'm sitting pretty. I get 100% of my income and I don't have to share it with anybody from my TV deal. But at the same time, I do agree that, Notre Dame in the ACC for all sports, except for football, and in any conference like that, like what they used to do with the Big East, is complete and utter BS. It's not fair. It's not right. Now, I think the College Football Playoff Committee should get some cojones. And if they got some balls in this thing, they would say to Notre Dame, you can't qualify for the college football playoff unless you're a part of a conference. Boom, done. Right? Boom, done. And then all of a sudden they're going to join a conference. Now the question becomes, do they join the Big Ten or do they join the ACC? It would make more sense for them monetarily to join the Big Ten. It would make more sense for them in their rivalries to join the Big Ten. It would make more sense geographically for them to join the Big Ten. So I think if the ACC pushed Notre Dame, they might not like the answer. They might not like the answer. And Delvin Cook, Mike, thank you for sharing this. Delvin Cook being released by the Minnesota Vikings puts us in a situation now where Alexander Madison is the Vikings' current guy. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on Alexander Madison? Now the question becomes when we get into our wake-up call fantasy football leagues, and mind you, folks, if you want to be a part of the wake-up call fantasy football leagues that we have here in Central and Upstate New York, those leagues compete at the Wildcat Sports Pub. If you want to be a part of those leagues, all you have to do is shoot an email to dtstays@gmail.com. That's dtstays@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, dtstays@gmail.com, and say, Dan, I'd like to be in the Fantasy Football League, and we'll get you set up and ready to go. So now all of a sudden, Alexander Madison jumps up these boards, right? And this is what happens. I mean, this is the instantaneous world of the NFL and of really sports in general, when things can happen so quickly that we're in a position like this where we say, okay, I mean, Delvin Cook,
Recording
speaking
in
of the
progress.
ACC, Delvin Cook was
Recording stopped.
big part of the ACC, and the ACC, the success there when you look at it nationally. I mean, he was at FSU, and so we know what he's capable of, and we know the things that he could do, and all of a sudden to see him elsewhere, and Delvin Cook being released is interesting, right? Why would you not try to trade him? Why would you not, try to work something out? I mean, it's just weird to me when you see these top picks, these top 10, top 5 picks, and these guys just get released. To me, is a very weird world. But now Delvin Cook is out there. So, for argument's sake, if we take a look at, where things are at currently and where it would make sense to ship off Delvin Cook to, now that he could go where he wants to go. Alexander Madison, and like I said, is there, and he's really the one name that we know here when it comes to Minnesota. But if you're looking down the line here, you say Delvin Cook could make sense in Arizona. because James Conner's good, but the does he stay healthy every week? So that's a question there. I don't think he'd be going to Atlanta because Atlanta's got too much and they've spent too much the last couple of years on draft picks. Baltimore could be interesting. You got J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, but both of those guys have gotten hurt in recent history, so Baltimore could be a fit. So you got Arizona, you got Baltimore. The Buffalo Bills, I know people talk about this. You got James Cook and Damian Harris. He still could be there, and he could play with his brother. You could have James Cook and Delvin Cook playing together in the NFL on the same team, in the same backfield, at the same position, which would be pretty insane. And then the Carolina Panthers, they just made a move for Miles Sanders. I don't think he's going to end up in Carolina. That's a gut reaction there. Chicago, Dante Foreman and Khalil Herbert. I don't know if I necessarily see him in Chicago. Cincinnati's got Joe Mixon, and we know they've been riding with Joe Mixon for a long time. And for those of you waiting for Matthew Hawn, he's going to be joining us in just a couple minutes. I don't see him going to Cleveland. The Dallas Cowboys put their eggs in the basket of Tony Pollard, but they could make a play for him because behind Tony, they don't have any household names there. Denver could definitely make a play for him because they have Javonte Williams, but Javonte hasn't stayed healthy in recent history here, so that could be a move to make. I don't see him going to Detroit. They've already made a couple moves. Green Bay, no, because they have A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, so I don't see him in Green Bay. Just going down, the NFL in alphabetical order here and taking a look at it because I want to make sure that I do my due diligence here. So I'm giving you the list of places where I think Delvin Cook could end up. Houston could be an interesting thing there, right? Because they have Dameon Pierce. So, that could be, I don't know if it's the best situation for him to go into, but it could be something for him. Not going to Indy because they have Jonathan Taylor. I don't see him going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville rotates some guys around, and they have Travis Etienne. And, obviously they made the decision to keep JaMychal Hasty. And so I don't see that happening. Outside of there, Kansas City could, they have Isaiah Pacheco. They still have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't know how long they're going to have him. We'll see if he makes it through camp. God willing, things will work out for him. Always hope the best for everybody, for sure. The Raiders, they didn't know what they were doing with Josh Jacobs. They still have Josh Jacobs. The Chargers have Austin Eckler, and they did draft Isaiah Spiller last year. And I still look at Larry Roundtree the third. So the Rams, in taking Delvin Cook, that could make some sense because their guys don't stay healthy, and they have Cam Akers, so that could be interesting. Two former FSU running backs running together, Cam Akers and Delvin Cook, so that could be a cool story to tell. And then as far as the Miami Dolphins go, Miami could be a good place for them too because they have Myles Gaskin, Savon Ahmed, Jeff Wilson Jr., Raheem Mostert. None of those guys, I think, are consistent starters for 17 weeks of the regular season. So I think he could go there as well. New England brought in James Robinson. They have Ramondre Stevenson. I don't know if he wants to go to – I don't know if New England would be a good place for you to go if you're trying to win a championship. New Orleans has Jamal Williams now. They still have Alvin Kamara, so I don't see him in New Orleans. The Giants have Saquon, so I don't see him there. The Jets have a bunch of youth in the backfield, so I don't see him there. I don't see him in Philadelphia because they just made the move for DeAndre Swift, and they still have Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell. They have Trey Sermon, Rashad Penny they brought in. So I don't necessarily see him there. Pittsburgh could be interesting. They have Najee Harris, but Najee has not stayed healthy throughout an entire season recently, but I still don't see him going to Pittsburgh. San Francisco has Christian McCaffrey, and we know Christian's done a lot of great things there. Caught a touchdown, passed for a touchdown, ran in a touchdown, was automatically effective in San Fran, which shows that maybe Carolina was the problem. Seattle, they drafted Kenneth Walker III last year, so I don't really know. Seattle could be a good fit for him for a 1-2 punch. I think Tampa could work out here because they have Rachaad White, who they're kind of leaning on as their rookie, and they brought in Chase Edmonds, and they still have Keyshawn Vaughn. They have Sean Tucker from Syracuse. So, Tampa could be another look for Delvin Cook. I like that rhyme. And then, not in Tennessee. They got too much, and they already let go of somebody that they had. And then, in Washington, I don't see him in Washington. They could potentially use the help. I just don't see him there. So that's a look at the Delvin Cook sweepstakes. I just went through 31 franchises of where he could go. I don't think he's going to be a free agent for long, so I agree with you, Mike, and thank you for bringing that up. And with that being said, we're going to bring into the show Matthew Hawn here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, and very happy to do this. So Matthew going to be joining us here from CBA in Syracuse, offensive and defensive lineman, following his Division I offers that he has received here very recently, and we're ecstatic about this. He's coming from my alma mater, and so very happy to have Matthew here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Matthew, how you doing today?
Doing great, man. Really appreciate you having me on the show. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So, Matthew, first and foremost for you, I do want to make mention of this. Somebody who means a lot to me, your head coach, Casey Brown, he doesn't just say something to say something. And when I told him you were coming on the show, he said 3 words to me: great young man. What does it mean to you to have some positive words coming from Casey Brown and just what he's meant to you in general?
I mean, yeah. So I moved here from Illinois last year, and he really reached out to me. And ever since, he's been a great, almost parental figure for me, coaching me along. And I'm really happy to be known not only, for football, but also that he thinks of me as highly as a person as well. But he's been really helpful for me as, my recruiting process, my strength process, football process, and life process. And he's really, been a great figure for me in my life.
Matthew, being on the offensive and defensive line, do you have a preference of where you would like to play in college?
I definitely am more of an offensive lineman, I would say. I do enjoy playing left tackle, probably a little bit more than playing defense.
And so being at left tackle, typically that's obviously the blind side. And so for you to have that, I mean, it's not only playing offensive line, it's playing a crucial, integral part of that offensive line. What can you say to that? Because there's so much emphasis that goes on the left tackle, a lot of focus that goes there. So, to be in a position like that where there is a lot of eyes on the left tackle, if something goes wrong, there's eyes on the left tackle. If something goes right, there's eyes on it. What do you like about that? Because it's definitely a position that comes with scrutiny, and it also comes with, a lot of potential love depending on how you play it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the position, being able, always looked at it, add pressure on there. It really motivates me to, do the best I can, make sure to protect the quarterback, and also to be, a leader on the O-line and make sure our guys are, getting touchdowns, because that's my job, to make sure the skill players look good.
And for you, there's certain things you can't teach. I believe you're 6'6" right now.
Yeah, that's correct.
So 6'6" offensive line. I mean, that's a big old guy right there. So what can you say about that? I mean, that's God given. So to be at 6'6", just what you could say about what that does for you, because I know that unfortunately in recruiting, not everybody necessarily gets the credit that they deserve, because some people are just looking at, certain things that you can't control, like height. You have it working in your favor, so what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm blessed. I thank God every day for it. It's really been a blessing, and my parents, obviously. But it's been really helpful, and also just for football and, being able to be taller than most people I play with. But, I do find a blessing, and I really appreciate, being able to use my height and my skill set, in the game of football.
And like you said, I mean, to be taller than a bunch here, how does that show up on film for you? Because sometimes when you have height like that, they'll look at the film and say, oh, this person's not playing up against competition that's pushing them as much. What can you say to your competition, and how do you battle back somebody saying, you're so much bigger than certain pieces of your competition that, is your film for real? How would you battle that back?
The competition here in Section 3 is really unparalleled. Like, these guys, from all the schools, CNS, Liverpool, Baldwinsville, they play like they're 7 feet tall. They're fast, they're strong. So I don't think that, going against them, whether they be 6'5" or 5'5", has really, made a difference. They play at a very high level. and they've made me better, and I appreciate being able to go against them every week.
What would you say has been your favorite memory at CBA so far, Matthew?
Being able to meet everyone probably, and like being accepted to the community, because I moved here from Chicago area last year, and I didn't know anyone. And I came into football, and football, was a family for me. It was a segue into the school.
Yeah.
And being able to use my skills and being able to be able to coach up and maybe meet the guys, it's really a great opportunity. And I was really thankful for everyone being so open and welcoming me.
And you talk about that. You speak on coming from. What brought you over here from Chicago?
My dad's job changed.
So when Dad gives you the news and says, "Hey, we got to move," and you say, "Where are we going?" and he says, "Central New York, Syracuse, New York." Did you know anything about the area, or did you have to get to know quick?
I did not. I did not know anything about the area, but I said to him when he told me, because obviously I was really close with my school there and the coaches, and I said, Dad, I know they have football in New York, and I'm gonna do the best I can in New York. It doesn't matter where I am.
When you had to leave your team in Chicago, how did you handle that transition and having to tell your teammates and your coaches that you weren't going to be there?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard, especially because the head coach I've known for like 10 years because my older brother played at that school and he obviously went on to play D1 later in life. But, I knew that it was just God's plan for me and the next step. So I was going along with the flow, knowing that I would, be just as successful in Syracuse as I would be anywhere else in the world.
Matthew, like you said, when your dad said, "Hey, we're moving to Syracuse," you said, "Well, I'm going to do the best I can to compete in New York." What makes you believe that whatever state you go to, wherever you're playing, whatever the competition is, that you're going to be able to get yourself on the field?
I mean, I believe a lot of it's effort. No matter where I am, I'm going to try my best to always stand out and play. But also, football is everywhere. Everyone in America loves football. And I really appreciate I find pretty much no difference from here to Illinois to anywhere else I've seen the States playing high school football. High school football is high school football.
And you say, like from Illinois to New York, you haven't seen much difference. Chicago to Syracuse, football is football. Level of talent, you feel like there's similarities for you?
Yeah, there's definitely similarities. Though, funnily enough, I feel like the similarities, there's equal level of talent, but it's in different position groups. Like in Illinois, that we had like 3 D1, 4 D1 linemen that were like huge, and then here we have Cy, Darian, all my teammates. So I feel like there's a lot more skill players in this area that stand out compared to Illinois.
So when you come here as a left tackle and you're 6'6", and that's atypical for some places, do you feel like the giant in the room sometimes?
I mean, sometimes, but I'm not even the tallest in our team. I'd go to Khalil on our 6'6", 6'8", ninth grader, but I'm just glad I can use my height that God gave me, for something, profitable in football.
And you say, obviously God given is the height of 6'6", but not God given is how hard you decide to work. That weight that you put on, the film that you watch, what type of weight you're putting on, what muscle you're bringing in. So when you have the God-given talent and the God-given height, what have you done in your regimen to make you the player that you are today?
First of all, my teammates push me every day. First of all, like Syer, Darian, they're always, whenever I go to the team lifts, they're always pushing me to be the best I can. So I really have a lot of my progress. I got to thank them for a lot of my progress. But I've also been doing speed training as much as I can. I go on to the CBA field, work on footsteps, footwork, kick slides, and then of course I'm going to college camps to improve. So it's been a good off season.
Which college camps have you been to so far?
So far I've only been at the Purdue camp, and then this weekend I have college prep. Sorry.
No, you're okay. So you said this weekend you have what?
So last weekend at Purdue. This weekend I have college prep camp in Utica.
So to take away from that Purdue camp, what were the main pieces that you kind of took with you in your backpack when you left?
It was great to be coached, by Coach Johnson. I have a lot of respect for him. He was a great O-line coach, and he really, wasn't worried about like making sure to find the recruit. He was worried about coaching everyone that was there. And so I really took a lot away from his coaching, his style of coaching, and not only that, but he was talking about how to be a good person off the field, how to stay motivated, how to, work hard. And I really appreciate, all the coaches at Purdue camp for helping me, bettering me. It was definitely a great experience.
How did they make you better? What did they do?
They talked to me, first of all. They talked to me about, give me advice about like recruiting in general. But they were like on Twitter, tweet, don't retweet stupid things, watch out what you're liking for, don't tweet anything that would make you seem like a worse person. And they, a lot of great advice that's not just from someone who's recruiting me, but someone who's helping me be recruited by everyone.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge thing and a great piece of advice. I mean, back there was a time where social media was not a part of life and it wasn't a part of recruiting. How have you handled that, and not just yourself personally, but maybe with talking with teammates? How do you all handle the world of social media, understanding that one retweet, one like, or one post could change everything?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're a good generation for it to happen because we're so used to technology. But it's really been, interesting to be able to know that everything we're doing is being watched.
Yeah.
And also, Coach Bruce, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, really has been helping out. He's great at helping us with our tweeting, with what we should say, how we should say it, how to present ourselves the best way that we can.
You mentioned Coach Bruce Williams, wide receivers, DBs coach and offensive coordinator at CBA Syracuse, an alum of CBA, and went on to play at Syracuse University. What can you say about your relationship with him and what Bruce has meant to you?
He's been a great mentor for sure. He's been really helpful with me, not only playing football here and the now, but he's been extremely helpful going on to the next level. Like just 5 minutes ago before the interview started, he sent me a picture of a camp that I should go to. And every weekend I see him out there with wide receivers, and he always, Matthew, what do you need while you're working by yourself with alignment stuff? What do you need? How can I help you? Weight room, making sure he's pushing me, pushing myself to be the best that I can, and getting me out there, taking videos of me, talking to coaches. He's really been helpful, and I really appreciate him as a coach.
The coaching staff in general at CBA, how do you feel about them as a whole? Their personalities, the way that they handle things, the way that they teach you. What can you say about what that leadership group has been for you?
It's a great environment. I could tell they're all not just coworkers, but they're all close friends. And they love football. They love football a lot, and they really show that when they coach. And they're all great people. I love every single one of them. They've all helped me in their own way be the better football player and progress forward through this offseason.
So you moved because Dad's job puts him in a position to move, but do you feel like this was a purposeful move by God to bring you over to CBA?
100%. If I wasn't moved to CBA, I don't think I would have gotten the same exposure as would have in my old school. I wouldn't have had the same opportunities. I really appreciate being able to be here, and I really thank God every day for sending me to CBA. It was a great moment in my life.
Once again, this is Matthew Hawn here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, joining us, 2025 CBA Syracuse offensive and defensive lineman, predominantly left tackle. And you've received some Division I offers here and got to see them pop up. Temple and UMass coming up pretty quickly, one after the other. What can you say about that? I mean, you're 2025, it's 2023, so you definitely have time. You got a few seasons to go before you will be heading off into the world of collegiate athletics. So what does that mean that you've gotten these Division I offers so early on with plenty of time to continue to build yourself?
I'm really thankful, for the opportunity to be given them such a young age. It was really surprising. And I was really thankful. Me and Darian got offered UMass and Temple at the same time. We both, rejoiced in that together. And it's a great opportunity. I really appreciate, the coaches calling me, both coaches, that, when they reached out, I really, like both programs, UMass and Temple, and I appreciate them noticing, my skill set and seeing the potential and giving me a chance.
So we'll start with UMass. What did you like about UMass?
I liked, the coaching staff in general when he called me and he told me about what, the environment of UMass, what UMass is like, academics, because, it's known as to be a good academic school. And, when he called, I really felt like it was personal. It wasn't like a job interview, like, a coach to player. It was like, person to person. And I really appreciated that personal connection.
And as far as Temple goes, what stuck out about Temple?
How much the Coach Barry loved Temple. I could tell, he loved Temple and he loved what they were doing. And he was really, complimentary towards me and what I could become. And he said that if, the O-line coach would turn me, into a great offensive tackle. And I really appreciate him having confidence in me that he did.
And you said, Darian Williams, your teammate, who's going to be on the show tomorrow here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Picture in Picture Live, to not only get these offers, but to get them with your teammate and to have you and Darian get to celebrate UMass together, Temple together. You talked about it being, a blessing. Go a little bit deeper into that. I mean, one thing to get a Division I offer, another thing to get a couple of them, and then yet another thing to be able to celebrate that with a teammate who's getting the same schools at the same time. So bring me into that moment.
Yeah, so when I called him and I found out I had an offer from Temple and then UMass, and then I went upstairs and I saw on Twitter that Darren got offered. I ran over and we like gave each other a hug and stuff, and we were both really proud of each other because we both know, like, I know Darian's a great wide receiver. I have tons of confidence in him, and I'm sure he has confidence in me. And it was really a blessing to be able to share it together with with our other teammates too. Like Sire came over right away. It's like, Matt, Darian, welcome to the club. I'm really proud of you both. So it was really a special moment.
And seeing, Sire Torrance, seeing everything that he's gotten and the offers that came in initially and now have continued to charge on in, and what are you taking away from that and in your relationship with Sire to see him kind of go through this process? And he got recruited, like you, he got recruited well in advance. And then, now we're seeing as he gets closer and closer to that decision, more and more is coming in. What have you taken away from his experience?
It was great to see like how he acts with all the offers. He never let it get to his head or anything. He never acted like he was better than any of the teammates, and he deserves all of it. He is a hard worker. He's a phenomenal football player, and he's a great person. In the weight room, off the field. I love talking to him, hanging out with him. He's a great person. And it's been really good to see how he has been dealing with these offers and like, acting with them and not acting any higher than the rest of us. And like, it's good to see him. It's good to see him get recognized. He's a great player.
Well, you talk about it, Matthew. You said, listen, he hasn't gotten an ego, a big head. He's still Sire. That, I would imagine, has to help you in your. I mean, you are the person that you are, right? But to see somebody get all of these accolades, all of these opportunities, all of these roads that they could choose from, and to still be a good teammate has got to have a positive effect on this team.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't let any offers you get or scholarships go to your head or get your ego. At the end of the day, we're teammates. We want everyone to be the best they can, and we want to play football and win together. And we're all brothers. We're Christian Brothers Academy. We all love each other. We'd all die for each other, and we're all proud of each other. And so I really appreciate being with my teammates and being able to work out with them every day. Play football with them. And yeah, I really appreciate Cy being almost the role model he is with him getting his offers and seeing how to act and how to be a good person with the offers.
That coming from Matthew Hawn this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, coming to us from CBA Syracuse. Matthew, I mean, hearing everything that you've had to say, and this is the first opportunity that we've had to speak with each other, you seem to know your thoughts. You seem to think them out and freely share them, but very eloquently. At the same time, you talk about your faith. I would imagine that how your family has raised you and what you've been around is helpful in the person that you are today. And I love seeing it. I went to CBA and I was raised by, you know, two wonderful parents. I'm blessed that they're here on this earth, and I continue to make new memories with them every single day. CBA is different, and I would like to think for the positive reasons, right? Morals, values, etiquette, responsibility, faith, kindness, generosity, family, teamwork. Were you always like what we're seeing here today on screen? Has CBA brought that more out of you? Or is CBA kind of the perfect fit because this is who Matthew Hawn is and this is what CBA is?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, my parents, have done a great job raising me. They've always been there for me, helping me along, this journey of life. And CBA was really a great fit. It really helped me to strengthen my faith and, make some great people. And I really appreciate, I'm happy now that I moved for sure. Back then it was a little sad. I didn't know if I wanted to move. I was unsure, but right now, this is where God wants me to be.
And you talk about God, and you mentioned God multiple times on the show, which I appreciate. Why are you unafraid to speak about your faith?
I mean, my faith is who I am. God gave me these abilities. Without him, I'd be nothing. So he made me 6'6". He made me fast. He made me, the person I am. He made me have a good work ethic. So I really, thankful for all he's done.
Beyond the God-given talents that he's given you in your height that you just mentioned, what's your favorite part of having a relationship with God?
I just have someone to go to, I guess. Pray before games, before snaps, even like help me with this, help me just this snap. I don't ask him for like, this game I do good. I ask him this snap, Lord, please this snap. I'm gonna do the best I can. So I really, it's like, personal connection for sure.
How do you give back to God? If God has given you so much, what do you do to give back?
I feel like it glorifies him to use my talents that he gave me and to use them in his glory.
That coming from Matthew Hawn here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Matthew, protecting the quarterback is a massive, massive importance in the game. And being at left tackle, as we've spoken about before, being on that blind side is crucial. What can you say about your quarterback at CBA and protecting them?
No, we have a great quarterback room for sure. We have Porter Matt, Braden Smith, and I have the utmost confidence in both of them. They're both, great players, and I feel, lucky to be able to block for them. And also knowing them so well and being so close with them, it's, going to give me some extra motivation to block for them and, make sure they're safe.
And having, like you said, you got a quarterback room with a couple different guys. How would you describe their skill sets?
Yeah, for sure. So Brain is probably, is a little younger. He's my grade, and Porter is a rising senior. And I feel like it's been good to see their dynamic, the duo, Porter being the older, maybe almost role model, coaching Brain up a little bit. And they're both phenomenal players. I feel like, they both could start at any high school for sure. And I'm excited to see what they do this season.
Do you have a preference, run blocking, pass blocking? Is there something that you feel more comfortable with at this point?
I would say probably I prefer run blocking a little more. I think I have fun doing both, but I like being able to push forward instead of falling back. You know what I mean?
And it's smart, yeah, I do. And your best attributes that you would consider you have right now, if a college comes to you and says, Matthew, so with that being said, taking a look at this, is there, as far as your attributes go, what would you say are your best attributes?
I would say I have a good work ethic. I'm really proud of my work ethic, being able, almost every day go out to the field thinking, how can I better myself today in this moment? How can I prepare for next season and be the best player that I can? And I really love working. I love being out there, just enjoying football. I really do love football, and it's been a great off season being able to work.
Biggest places where you want to work, areas that you're really focusing in on right now?
Been working a lot on pass pro recently, especially as you said, left blind side. Quarterback can't see behind him, so I have to make sure to be as strong as I can in that area.
protect him so he doesn't have to worry about who's going behind him.
And Matthew, before we jump into something called rapid fire, what advice would you want to give to the world right now? If you could say anything to the people that are watching and listening around the world, what would you say?
Work hard. I mean, 3 years ago, wasn't starting offense or defense, even though I was big. I was lazy back then, didn't have a great work ethic, but put in the work, put in the effort, and you'll get something back from it. You will gain skills, you will gain confidence, you'll gain strength, and it's really the best thing you can do is just to work.
You said you had the height, but you didn't have the work ethic, and you were lazy back then. What changed your work ethic? What made you become who you are today? If you considered yourself not going in the right direction back then, and like you said, being lazy, what made you work harder?
I feel like a lot of it, actually, funnily enough, was quarantine. Surprisingly, I was in quarantine, and I was like, football is canceled, right? But I kind of realized I love the sport. I want to be as good at the sport as I can. So I just started, when we were stuck at home, I started running, working out at home, doing all that I could. That kind of carried over till the day, being able to just put the work in and better myself and be the best I can be.
And coming from Matthew Hawn, CBA Syracuse, 2025 prospect for college football and his future. Matthew, we're going to play rapid fire. We're going to go back and forth with 3 questions apiece. Nothing prepared. I have no idea what you're going to ask. You have no idea what I'm going to ask. It could be about literally anything. It could be about football. It could be about anything in the world. So I'm going to let you start here. We'll do 3 rounds here. You'll go first, and then I'll go second. So what's your first question for me?
I have to say, what's your favorite college football team?
Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Been Syracuse for a long time, and my whole life, actually. And, I mean, there's other teams that I really enjoy watching and have built really close bonds and relationships with, but I'd say Syracuse from day one. Have you had any connection with them or no?
Yeah, I mean, I've gone a few unofficial visits and stuff, met all the coaches, and it seems like a great program.
Okay, fair enough. So with that being said, and that's not my first question, just wanted to kind of aside on that. So you've been able to go out and visit a little bit. What did the coaches leave you with? Was it, hey, we like you, we want to see some more film, we're thinking about offering you? Have they not said anything? What has that been like?
A lot of them talked about I have good feet. Which has been good to hear. I've been at the Purdue camp. They said I have good feet, and also mentioned that I have a good build for being so young, which is helpful. And so it's been good to hear their feedback.
And so I mean, there's no thought at this point on offer from them yet.
Besides Temple and UMass, nothing super serious, but definitely some interest for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think that'll continue to go up, and I'd love to see Syracuse provide an offer, especially knowing that they need help on the offensive line, depth-wise, for sure. So my first question for you, Matthew, is how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
If I was to use 3 words to describe my life, it'd be faith, focus, finish.
Faith, focus, finish. I like that. Okay. What's your next one for me?
What's your go-to restaurant in Syracuse? I'm still kind of the area. Don't always know the best restaurants to go to.
Yeah, so you're gonna get me in trouble here. So, my favorite restaurants in Syracuse. So I would say, oh boy, there's a bunch that I like. I guess I would have to say, if I had to choose, this is tough. If I had to choose a restaurant in Syracuse that I really like, I think that there's so many. I think I would have to go with, probably. It's a good question. It's a very good question. If I had to pick a restaurant in Syracuse, who would I go with? Like I said, there's so many. I mean, I like PB&J's because they're so different in Liverpool. welcome here to Wake
on 6630 Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. So,
welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here where sports meets life.
That.
We appreciate
so
you.
I would probably say
from
that
9 a.m.
you
to
know
11 a.m. Eastern.
I'm a big fan of PB&J's for being so different. I would have to also say that I'm a big fan of Avicoli's for their veal and their barbecue chicken pizza. I would have to say the wings at the Wildcat are good, but I also really like their chicken Caesar wrap. I love my lemon pepper wings at Pizza Man and the Sweet Heat pizza that I have over there. Also, I made a very interesting pizza recently at Pizza Man. I made a Hawaiian with meatball. So it's ham. It was ham, pineapple, and meatball, and it was wonderful. So I got to shout out Luke Delia for that. So I would say that, and then I would say at Chick-fil-A, because I work with 3 different Chick-fil-A's. My go-to at Chick-fil-A is I really like the spicy chicken, and I would say beyond the spicy chicken sandwich, I would have to say that I like the nuggets, so I would probably put that on there as well. I don't want to leave anybody out here. So I'm trying to think, is there any place that I've left out that I want to make? Oh, 317 at Montgomery Street, the chicken bibimbap, their Asian dish is absolutely incredible. You can see them all here on the screen. And then I think at Mother's Cupboard is easy because the Cuse McMother is my own sandwich that I created there, which is a bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. And you can eat it like a sandwich or cut it up and eat it with syrup. And then Carvel, I have my own ice cream there called the DT Dolphin, which is in direct connection to the LeMoyne Dolphins. So, and then Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. I love their chocolate dipped Oreos, and I love their Elvis flavored kettle corn, which is banana kettle corn with Reese's peanut butter drizzle on it. So, yeah, I think with you asking me that question, I got to shout out all of them, is what I would say. All right, Matthew, my second question for you. What is the best piece of advice that anyone's ever given you?
Okay, so my dad always had this saying, which is part of the reason that helped me to motivate, to go to the gym, work out. It was your body is lazy. Push through the laziness to become the better person. So it's kind of like how our body wants us, wants to sit on the couch. It wants to lay around doing nothing all day. But you have to fight through to push your body to be strengthened.
So your body is lazy and you have to push it. So
yeah.
you have to be the one to put. I like that. I could appreciate that. Okay, what's your next one for me?
On a Sunday afternoon or whenever you're free, what's your go-to hobby to pass time?
Honestly, very simple. I probably, if I'm home, it's probably to go to the movies. I love the movies. I love them. I look forward to making them in my future, not too distant future. So, yeah, I love going to the movies or just, hanging out, taking a walk with my dog, maybe. Let's say that.
Okay.
All right. My last question, so that was one for me. So my last... Or no, this is my second question for you. So I would say, okay, my second one for you, Matthew. What is? Actually, no. This would be my third question for you. What's one thing that you would change about society if you could change anything?
Ooh, tough one. I would just say if everyone would be as motivated as they could. I feel like society as a general would come together, for the betterment instead of being so separated all the time. Big division. Just everyone can be motivated, to work together to just better the world.
I like that, and I could appreciate that very much. So, what's your? I'm gonna give you a bonus one here. What's your last one for me?
Oh, bonus one. Okay. What's your alma mater? I don't know you that well. So where'd you go to college?
See, my college. So yeah, I went to CBA in high school. College, Marywood University, in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And so a couple hours south, almost a direct straight line from Syracuse to Scranton, PA. So I went to Marywood and started my broadcasting career about 2.5 months into being in college. So pretty crazy. I started in November of 2003, and now it's June of 2023. July, it'll be 11 years that my business has been open, and it'll be 20 years of me being a broadcaster in November, which is insane because it started when I was 18. So
that's crazy.
A lot of good stuff. I'm going to give you a bonus one here, Matthew. Final one here for you. Let's have some fun with this one. If you could describe yourself as a meal, what would be on the plate and why?
A meal. So I would say to be on the meal would be steak.
Okay.
Filet steak. I would say green beans.
Okay.
And a side of mashed potatoes.
Green beans and a side of mashed potatoes. Okay. Why did you choose all that?
I choose, steak. It's kind of a tough question. I don't really know why I chose it. I just feel like,
yeah.
First of all, it's one of my favorite meals. But also, I just feel like, it's a good combo together. They work well together. So, I don't know. It's a tough question.
No, I can appreciate it. I always ask food questions when I'm in the studio in the morning, and it makes me really, really hungry. I don't know why I do it to myself, but with that being said, Matthew Hawn here on the broadcast, a 2025 CBA Syracuse offensive and defensive lineman looking to play left tackle as we move forward here. D1 offers from UMass and Temple. More to come, I am sure. And Matthew, above everything else, thank you for your faith. Thank you for your focus. Thank you for your work ethic, for having the personal responsibility, for knowing that the only one that can make you better is you, and for all the kind words that you said about your teammates, coaches, and family today. I can honestly say, stepping away from this conversation, that number one, I am thankful you're in our community. I look forward to talking with you again, number two. And number three, it's very refreshing to hear someone who is young in our society and in our world have so much care and love and concern for other people. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank
you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to talking with you soon, okay?
Thank you.
Take care. That coming from Matthew Hawn here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, and we'll wrap up the show right after this. We thank you. I think the audio went out for us on Facebook. There was a little wire snafu that accidentally happened here in the studio, and so if you went out with us on Facebook, we started a new video to finish up this conversation with Matthew, so hopefully you're able to catch us there. If not, we'll be able to re-air this for you, and you'll be able to get it all. So appreciate you so very much for being here. Thank you so much for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We'll take a step aside, and we'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream.
And so we are getting the information here to you right now. So here is
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and then we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and very happy to be here with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We thank you for being here on the broadcast every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and very happy to be here with you on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, both / Wake Up Call DT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they jump into the archives on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, as well as other avenues. You can go to Amazon, or pardon me, you could go to your Alexa device, which is connected with Amazon. You can go to your Alexa device or Google Home device and ask them to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they'll do that for you as well. So make sure you do that on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We appreciate you wherever you are watching and listening to the show. So many different avenues. We make it very hard for you to miss us, so you don't have to miss us. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on any one of these wonderful platforms. And a big thanks to our incredible partners, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, 317 at Montgomery Street, the home of the Downtown with Dan exclusive series, trying their food so that I can tell you what I'm tasting, so you can come in and get it yourself from their very unique menu at 317 at Montgomery Street. The name of the restaurant is also the name of the location in downtown Syracuse. Pizza Man, as well as Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Mom Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Great Lakes Honda City, PB&J's Lunchbox. Make sure you come out to all of these wonderful, wonderful places. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, if I didn't say that, and if I did, I'll say it again, because Lorraine and the team deserve it, and we're proud to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your LeMoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. The Dolphins coming to you Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time during Dolphin Time, and on every first and third Wednesday of each month, we jump into the stories of the wonderful Dolphins through the words and the wonderful time that I get to spend with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, making up AD and DT for Athletics Director, and Dan Tortora, of course. And Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories every second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. And, of course, you could tell from today that we underpromise, overdeliver, as today we had a Dolphin Dive with the future of LeMoyne men's lacrosse here on a Thursday, not on a Wednesday. So we do look to underpromise and overdeliver with these wonderful Dolphin stories that we get to tell. You can check out all of our Dolphin content by going to the LeMoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and of course, for more information on your Dolphins, going to LeMoyneDolphins.com. As always, Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The Bobcats coming to you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month with student athletes, coaches, and administration. You don't want to miss a second of all of our content with the Bobcats. You can check it out by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also find us by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and looking up the Bobcat Buzz on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, of course, after you click follow. And you could get more information on your Bobcats by going to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Plenty of great stuff coming up with the fantastic teams, including men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, baseball, and esports. Very much looking forward to that, and looking forward to having you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, celebrating the Bobcats right there on James Street in Syracuse, New York. Go Bobcats. With all that being said here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of the show and appreciate you for spending some time here with us, as you always do, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, 24/7 on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT.
inside of MonPazPopcorn.com is what's popping. I want to thank the future of LeMoyne men's lacrosse coming to us from Central New York and staying in Central New York. A big shout out to Joey Sacco of Liverpool, as well as Liam Burns from West Jenny, and God bless on their run toward a potential state title. Big ups to them for that. Coach Eric Burns, Mike Burns, the AD, and everybody over at West Jenny, we love you. Send you our support, so God bless on that. Love you, Liverpool, and Joey Sacco, and to the team, and Mike Felice and everybody there. And, of course, big shout-out, big ups to CNS. Much love, much appreciation to everybody over there. And many thanks for Mason Ciciarelli joining us here on the show today, as well as Ian Leahy. So big ups and big thanks to everybody there, and thank you to LeMoyne for taking a chance on all these young gentlemen. Big time shout out to Matthew Hawn as well, coming from CBA Syracuse, 6'6" left tackle for the CBA brothers, my alma mater, and having an opportunity with already having D1 offers from UMass and Temple. He's a 2025 recruit, so he's got plenty of time, and good to see that he already has some offers coming through. So many thanks, much love to all of the wonderful guests that I've had the opportunity to have here on the show today and in general. It's always an honor and a privilege for me, and I send you all my support and my love as always, and a big time shout out to my guy Chuck Wilbur over at CNS. Gotta throw that in there. So love you, Chuck, and a lot of great stuff. So I look forward to talking with you all soon. God bless. Have a fantastic day, and as always, God bless. No stress. Do your best. I had to say God bless more than once because